So we're doing our vacuum infusion with our silicone bag. I personally right now feel this is the best way to make our reproduction fiberglass, to get it on the backside to look like an original part as close as we can get it. The advantage to this is, first of all, the uniformity of this part. When we put all of our material inside this mold, we're very precise how we can put it in there dry. Instead of hand laying it and you're working with a mess, or like you saw in the earlier video of what the press mold is being done with the A and B mold, you basically got to hand lay it. You put the B mold on it and clamp it. To me, that's why I put it back on the shelf, because I didn't like it. That's what everybody's been using for 40 years. The stuff that, once we started getting into it, just didn't feel right. And so then we did the B mold with a throwaway bag. But the time factor of that throwaway bag and the waste of throwing everything away, we're trying to get away from the waste. The ultimate thing is, can we save some time here and make this part better and faster so we don't have to charge more than what the world's already paying for everything, because it's kind of crazy. And so we're trying to improve the quality of the part, our time factor, which is a big part of the cost of a part. And so today, this is where we've came into the infusion factor. When you're infusing a part, every square inch is 14.7 pounds. So when you look at this thing with about 8 square foot, a square foot is about 2,000 pounds. So you have about 16,000 pounds of pressure pushing on this part. And so you have a uniform part. It's going to take less resin. It's going to be way less. And we're ready to do an infusion. So we're going to start our infusion, which seems pretty basic. You know, it's in a bucket. It's pulling the resin into it. And the way that this tooling is designed, we lucked out. We came across a company out of the United Kingdom. It's named after the founder, Alan Harper. He's no comedian by any chance. He's damn serious about what he does here. And he's invented a really neat deal. But the neatest part of it is you need a flange around your part. And we've been building flanges on all of our parts all these years because we knew somewhere down the road somebody would come up with this technique, and we lucked out and found them. And so we've learned a lot from them. We're up to about close to 30 of these bags right now that we've been making in about 8 months worth of time, and we're rocking. We're going forward on this process. You come around here, DJ, and you can see the resin, how it's pulling through here. And so we know that there's no air in this. It's air-free. And it's pulling the resin through. We have on a big part like this, we can put in here what's called a morph. And so it's supercharging the resin down in this area. And once Brad gets to a point to where he's comfortable from his practicing doing this, he's going to shut that morph off. That morph will get flat, and the resin will finish pulling. And you can see the resin pulling through here. And so we have the 3 different colors available. The 63 early, which we call a blonde. The gray for the late 63 to 4, 5, 6. And then the 67 black. So we're making this part in black, so it's just a little bit easier to see. And so his system is down pat what he's got. And we'll pull this bag off later today and show you the backside as far as what we're going to have on this product. When you're thinking about the backside of a part, when we're building a high-scale car in the resto mod world, we're always detailing the living hell out of the backside. For the original guys, we always black it out on the backside. So it's just a matter of a little quick scuff on the back, and you black it out with your satin black, and the backside's gonna look like an original part. I think part of my problem's been is making the backside too good. And yesterday when I was looking at this, I'm looking at the backside of our B-molded parts, which is over the top from anything else out there. And then I went and looked at an original 65 side fender, and I says, we're overdoing this, we're killing it. I'm gonna go grab that fender and bring it back.
So is that pretty much done already? I guess it's still got to come up here a little bit more.
I usually turn off the resin when it gets to here, and it will finish. That way the part doesn't oversaturate.
Okay.
So here's the backside that I'm fighting with in my mind to duplicate. And we've been overkilling the whole backside. This is all the more the backside really needs to be, is this dull finish. You got a little bit of the texture of the mat, the way it was built. And back to explaining how this part was originally built, it was built in steel tooling, male and female tool that was heated. The continuous strand mat was laid in the mold. The resin was actually poured on it, and the tooling came down. Being heated, it took 3 minutes to cure. It opened it up, they put another one in, and that cycle just went on and on and on and on to build those cars. And so not only ourselves, but the other folks out there making the original style press molded, we've overkilled the backside and really made it too nice. And so we're trying to come back to where we have this dull finish as it comes out of the tool. And so this is our answer to a modern reproduction part today. And I really feel it's the right way to do it. And we're going to keep going forward with it. We're almost done with all the C2 product line. Doing it this way, once the bags are all made, we'll be covering all those bases from the floor, the firewall, the full roof pieces, you name it. That front end is a jig fitted front end. We're building that mid-year, and we're getting ready to start tooling up for that C3 because there's a gigantic need for C3. Thanks for watching. So we're back to our dilemma of the backside of our reproduction fiberglass. The big thing over the years has been the press molded. How do they get the press molded part? So as we've showed in the previous part of this video is press molded part, A to B mold, you roll out your glass hand laid part, put the B mold down and clamp it out. And everybody's loved that process. But that process isn't uniform, it's thick, it's heavy, it's just not as durable and lightweight as a infused part. And so we've concentrated real hard in the last 18 months on perfecting this infused stuff. And I think we're there. Here's the backside of an original GM part. Nothing fancy about it, but it is smooth. It has that press molded look. We already know on the backside of these parts, after we've installed them, we come back and detail it. You black out the backside with whatever your method is, from a light black coat to some people use undercoating, some people use lizard skin. Who knows what we're putting on the backside? Majority of the time, we're covering up the backside anyway. The important thing is to keep the uniformity of a part and the lightweightness of a original press molded part. Original press mold, again, steel, male and female mold, heated, so they can produce parts every 3 minutes. We're not in that world today. We don't have that tooling. We don't have the concrete floor to support the tooling, let alone the height. We're doing small volume, and so we're just trying to perfect it. So here's the backside, what you see on an original GM press molded part. And so the conclusion we're coming to, here's our bag, okay? We're not gonna show the inside of our bag because that's part of the trick to doing all this. But the inside of the part. Here's one method that we use to get it as smooth as we can there. Here's another method. This method is close, but this is where we're gonna be, okay? This method is a little still too shiny, but there's a difference in what we did here. And so this is what you're gonna see on our reproduction fiberglass. We're not gonna call it press molded because it's not true press molded with the steel tooling. It is press molded by infusing. And once again, the infusion part of it is, we know every square inch of an infused part is 14.7 pounds of pressure. So every square foot is over 2,000 pounds of pressure. And so the difference in the amount of resin from 80 ounces to the first one that we built with the hand laid process, A and B, now down to 56 ounces of resin. That's a big difference. That's a weight difference. And so that shows you the difference in the weight. And the last thing that we're gonna show you is the weight of an original quarter panel. We're gonna go back down to the warehouse and dig it out, and that's how we're gonna end this series on our reproduction fiberglass. Thanks for watching.